So the first thing I want to do is I want to go up to settings and I want to click on the settings menu. And you can see here on the left-hand side, I have a handful of options I can select from. The one I want to select is the connect settings. And under connect settings here, you're going to see marketing profile. Now you can see here mine is filled out. It has my headshots, information about myself, and then I also have my bio in here, my contact information. So basically all the main information about myself, my market center. And as I scroll down here, you also notice some of my social links, and then I also have my consumer app link, which I will show you how you can access as well. So again, this would be the first thing I would make sure is filled out, because as I move forward, any information that I change within my marketing profile will also change in my consumer app and my website. So let's say you update your headshot, you got a nice fancy new headshot, you want to update it on your website. You want to make sure that you go into your marketing profile and do that. All right, so I'm going to go back to my dashboard again. And we're gonna use our trusty red button here. I like to call it the red button because that's literally what it is. And it's the only red on the screen. I say this a lot because it really is the only red on the screen. So you can't really miss it. And this is a great shortcut, especially if you're not sure what these apps are called, because by default, it's always gonna be laid out like this. You're not gonna really know unless you've been in this a million times and you have an idea of what all the icons do. So in this case, if I didn't, I would click the red button and you have a nice little slide out menu, and I'm gonna be primarily in consumer today. So that's where we're gonna be working in. So let's click on consumer. And as you can see, this is my consumer dashboard. Basically, it has my landing pages here, agent site pages, guide builder. So these are all essentially pieces that would function on the consumer side. So my agent site, any sort of custom pages that I add in there, or my guides for my consumer app, which I'll be going over shortly in a little bit. And then landing pages, those are your single property pages. Those can be your open house sign-in sheets, your single property pages, which I think I just said. But these can just be, pages that aren't directly connected with your website that you can essentially link out in a text message or an email, or if you want to post it on your social media, you can always do that. So that would be a good way to put something together that's not necessarily connected with your website. But as I mentioned, we are going to be building out my agent site. And how we can do that is if I go up to site and app settings here, there's going to be an option here called Learn More with Kelly Guides. And I'm going to come back to this page too, because I know I get this question a lot, is how I can edit my background images on the slideshow. So that's how we're going to do that. And I'm going to come back to this in a little bit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and build out my site. So I want to click this button here. It says Learn More with Kelly Guides. So which Kelly Guide do you want to use to complete? We're going to go with agent sites. And I'm going to hit continue. And I'm going to hit leave because it's okay. I'm going to go to a different page here. So this is the Kelly Guide for your agent sites, and this is basically going to show you the three things that it's going to accomplish when you do this. It's going to help you choose your subdomain, it's going to help you choose the theming and style of your site, and then it's also going to allow you to do some page creations. So I've done this class before, and if you attended the class at any point, you probably would have went through this already, but I just want to quickly go through it. And this is going to be recorded, so if you happen to miss any of it, I will post it later on. But the guide itself is pretty straightforward. It's basically going to lay out on the left-hand side a preview of the site. And then on the right-hand side, it's going to give you some options, choosing the subdomain, as I mentioned, which will allow you to change out how your website appears up here as the URL. Questions I get a lot is, can you use a custom domain? You can. If you had purchased one previously from GoDaddy or one of those websites, you can definitely link it. I have a video on how to do that. Or if I can't find the video, I can definitely make one for you. So yes, you could use a custom domain if you prefer, but you do have to choose a subdomain in order to activate the site. If you were using Playster previously, it's just going to carry over the old Playster domain. As you probably have known, back in October, they switched out of Playster and are now using just the KW specific websites from Command. So let's move forward here. We go into marketing profile. This is very important, and I think agents sometimes miss this as it is kind of hidden. So make sure when you're going forward that you click on this. It's a little drop down, and it's going to give you access to additional pieces. Now, quick pro tip, if you recall when we were doing that marketing profile earlier, any of the information we put into that marketing profile will auto-populate here. So most likely, if you did that, you're not even going to have to fill this out because it's already done. However, you can go into here. You can also just kind of change out information if you needed to. I think right away, the bio is one of those things that if you don't have, you do need to put some sort of bio information in there. If you don't have a bio offhand, you can use maybe areas of expertise or services you provide. I would put something in there just to have it. If you're looking for a kind of like a quick, what's the word I'm thinking of? Kind of like a place to start with a bio. I know, like for mine at least, it used some of my information in my LinkedIn bio. And then it put together this nice little verbiage for me. So that's also another thing. If you're using LinkedIn, you can try that out. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. And you see here, most of the information's auto-populated, and we can move forward. So let's hit save and continue. All right, so we're at the second page here. You can see on the top, we're almost essentially complete, right? We're about halfway through this guide. You know, there's not a lot else we have to do. Second step is literally just choosing a theme. Now, I can tell you right away, the theming is not going to really be that obvious if you already have custom logos uploaded, because it's going to use your custom logos in place of a generic KW logo. You might notice some of the buttons are going to be a different color, but that's about it right now. So you can choose whichever ones you like better, whether it be the red or black. I like the black ones, and I keep it like that. Again, I haven't really seen much of a difference between the two just yet. So again, we can keep moving forward. I did add this one here just as a different headline. You know, do your NJ home searches here, which you totally can. Go to my website, you can do it. Hero images. So if you recall before when I was mentioning those background images, this is the slideshow. I typically don't work with them in here. I would go back into the agent site settings and I would go and upload them there. But if you prefer, you can go ahead and delete these off. And then you can upload your custom images here. You can see here, these are the guidelines. You want to make sure they're essentially high res, and you can only upload 5. Cool, all right. So let's go ahead and move forward again. We're going to hit save and continue. We chose our style and theme. Now this is the last piece of it, and I'm going to run through this as well. Company profile. Now this is a page you can use to essentially lay out maybe your services. It can also be maybe some information about your teams. Basically, this page is set up with a couple different sections, as you can see. I usually skip through this, but I like to just give an idea of what you could put there. So you can put even like little blurbs or testimonials if you prefer to put them in there. Now there's a couple things in here you probably noticed right away. One being navigation, the other one being search engine optimization, and then the last one being content. So these are the 3 sections you can currently edit from this screen. Navigation is essentially going to be where this page will lay out inside of my website, whether I want it to appear first or maybe at the last, at the bottom. Depending on where I want that laid out, I can kind of drag and drop it wherever, and that will save it inside of my navigation, which once I go out of this site, I'll show you. Search engine optimization. This is going to be some of the specific keywords that you're using to have Google index your page. So as you can see here, my page title, that is one piece of the SEO. That's going to appear on the top. Now, where it says slug, that's just going to be where the URL is. So if I put this, as you can see, it changes on the top. Or I can put something like, about us. So these would just essentially be the way that it appears on my website as a URL slug. Not like the bug. And SEO descriptions, this can just be, something like currently covering the NJ, or we can just say the Bergen County, Hudson County, and Essex County areas. Then you can say something like specializing in residential, commercial, and luxury. These are all different keywords that I'm writing in. I can copy and paste this throughout my pages. But this is just to give you an idea of like what those SEO descriptions are. There are quite a few websites that give you ideas on how to do this. So if you're ever looking for ideas on how to work with the SEO, you can use that. Just do like a quick Google search for like SEO keywords. All right, and then the last thing is the content. So this is basically the how I'm going to fill out the company profile page if I prefer to. Again, I'm not going to go through all this, but you can see here each section has its own intro paragraph, headline, paragraph underneath, and then you also have your images that you can upload. So I'm just going to skip through that. Again, here I'm on my second page I can customize, which is my About Me. So this is going to have my bio, what my job title is. You can put a page title as well. These are going to look familiar, as you can see: navigation, search engine optimization. You can see here for this page specifically, I did add some keywords. I didn't go through and add that whole description like we did before. But again, just to give you an idea of like some of the things I was adding in there, I might go back and change this at some point. So for the content, because it's already going to pull in the information from my marketing profile, that's why you're going to see here things like my bio already in there. My contact information looks good, but I can always go and switch this out. Last page we have is a contact form. And this is just going to be a form that people can fill out on my website. It's essentially a lead capture form. And I'm also giving them some sort of incentive here. So what I did, if we go down to content, is I added a intro paragraph just saying, like, if you fill this out, we will set you up for a quick consultation. Or I can put complimentary consultation, or I can say some other type of service I want to provide if they fill out this form. So then I also have a message hint, which is what appears in this little box here. I can change that as well if I wanted. And then here's just my contact information again, which also appears on the bottom. But if somebody filled this out, they would be captured in my database, and I will be able to follow up with them accordingly. Nancy's saying, what do I do if my bio does not update in the About Me section, but I have a bio in my profile? Good question, Nancy. I know specifically if you set up the website and then add a new bio afterwards, you have to go back into the page and edit that page. I'll show you how you can do that. Good question. Let's go and hit save and continue. And that was the last step. So basically we're done here. Again, we can disregard this message, which says your site will automatically launch on October 1st. We're obviously quite a few months past October at this point. So we can just kind of disregard that. But you can see on the top now, we are done with this profile. Let's go ahead and click out of this. Now, just to show you how the website's going to appear once you're finished, you should have something set up very similar to this, as you can see. Let me scroll down here. You can see the information. It's all good. Now, one thing you're also going to notice is that I'm actually logged in as a client. So I have my client signed into my actual website, and that's why you can see things like the guide and the saved property searches. So when your client's actually on your website and they create an account, that account will also allow them to visit from the consumer app, and they can also use the same login to visit your website, which what I currently have set up right now. So one thing you're probably curious about seeing is the drop-down menu here with all the different pages. So the pages that we just created, they now live on my website, and you can see here what they look like. You might also notice that I have some additional ones that I set up that are not part of the guide, which are custom pages. So that's the next thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let's click out of here, and we're going to go back to my agent site pages menu. So you see here I have quite a few different pages that we created. So we're actually going to set up a page right now, and I'm going to show you how to create a testimonial capture page. So what's that going to do? When your client is visiting your website, or if you're directing a client to your website and you want to have them fill out a form to leave a review, you can set up what they're calling a testimonial capture. So let's go ahead and create one of those right now. We're going to go to create a new site. And if we go to where it says on my agent site, again, if we click as a standalone, that's going to create a standalone landing page. On my agent site, it's going to create a separate tab for my website. So that's the difference between the two. Let's go ahead and create a new page. So anytime you want to create any pages for your agent site, that's how you would do it. So I'm on this page here, and it might look familiar, right? It probably looks very familiar because they're using the same sort of engine to power this page as well. And we're going to call this testimonial capture. So that's just going to be the name of the page. And you can see here on the right-hand side a bunch of widgets. So right now there's about 8 widgets. The one that I'm going to choose, because we want to create a testimonial capture form, is this one here. And the way that I bring it into the site is if I drag and drop it in, there's going to be a little green line. And that's going to drag in this testimonial capture widget. And as you can see right now, it's going to give you a nice little preview of what that's going to look like. It's also not configured, so that's why it's that grayed out box. Now, if I want to add any additional content, perhaps I want to add a link to my app, which I could also do. I can drag in a link to my app below, and that will appear right below that page as well. So if they wanted to download my app right after that, they can go ahead and do that. I'm going to delete that one off though. So we're just going to work primarily on this testimonial page right now. So let's go ahead and configure it now. Let's go ahead and hit configure widgets. So right on the top here, it's going to ask me what my team name is. I'll just put my name there because I'm not on a team. So I'm just going to put Keller Williams. We'll just put City Views there. Next thing it's going to ask me is for my headline. So you can see here, mine already kind of pre-filled it because I typed this out before, but this is just to give you an idea of what I did. I put, what are my clients saying? This would probably be more so when they actually left the testimonial and I want them to see that. This here, I can just see something like, how was your experience? So that can be the headline. Now the description here is already kind of pre-filled for you, and I do like how it looks. So I might keep that the way it is, but you can also You know, you can type in your own if you have like your own little script. Review headline, that's going to be essentially what appears. Where does that go actually? Oh, here we go. Yeah, how would you rate your experience? That's going to be where the little 5 stars are. So I'm going to leave that there. And then review placeholder text, I will use that as well. I'm just going to keep that in there. And then I'm going to hit save and apply. And you're going to notice what it does. It's going to change on the widget page here, and it's going to give you kind of like an interactive preview. So you can see here, I can leave a star rating, and you can put a review in there. We're going to write up a review in a second, and I'll show you where that goes. So I'm going to change the headline, actually. I'm going to put leave a review, just something a little bit more obvious. And then we're going to hit save and apply again. So as I change things around and I hit save and apply, it's going to change it on the page here, as you can see. So let's go ahead and save changes now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit publish and hit yes. So now you can see here, I have a testimonial capture, and it's also here, you can see a little eye. When it's grayed out, it means that it's not active on your website yet. So we have to make it active. And we can do that by simply going up to site and app settings. And I want to go to site pages. So it's a little bit of a workaround, but this is how it's going to be done for now. And now you can see here on the left-hand side, this is how my pages are currently. And I'm just going to delete some of these because I don't need some of them right now. We're going to add that testimonial capture form, and we're going to go ahead and do it. Let's delete this one too, because we're going to do a whole new one. Let's go to add page. And I'm going to scroll down here. Where did my testimonial page go? Weird. Okay, looks like it didn't, try that again. Didn't show up in here. All right, that's strange. Try doing that again. So we're just going to put leave a review, my name in there. Okay, and we're going to save that up again. Testimonials, test page, publish, put yes. Okay. Let's go to agent site pages again. Let's try this out once more. Add page. Interesting. I'm not sure where it went. Okay, that's a little annoying. That might be something I have to kind of bring up to KWRI. So strange. All right, yeah, it's weird. Because that's how Sorry, everybody, my internet cut out, but we're back at it again. Let me share my desktop. So I was in the middle of showing my agent site and I was putting together a page and it wasn't allowing me to use my testimonial one. So I have to actually submit a request to KWRI. I think there's an issue with that right now, but I was putting together a page to my website as you were seeing before. I'll just go back to it. Under agent sites here, I'm just going to go to my page real quick. What I did was I put together a page, which it doesn't look like it saved it, so I'm going to just make it again. If we go to agent site and app settings, under where it says site pages, this is where you actually build out the pages that are going to live on your website. So after we put together the agent site page that we did here, which you can now see is right there, we can go to site and app settings. And if we go to site pages and we go to add a page, and for whatever reason, it's not appearing here. So that's the thing I have to reach out to KWRI about, because that's really strange. I just used the, I'm going to use the vendor test one here. And I just called this testimonial, or just put reviews. And then I'll put reviews here as well. So if I hit save page, and we'll just put some SEO description in there for now. We'll hit save. And now if I go back to my page and I hit refresh, there's going to be a section under here called reviews. And obviously it's not the review one because it's not appearing in my site yet. But if this was the review page, this would have that lead form or the review form that we filled out, and that would appear directly on my website. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. That's super weird. But apparently it's not letting me use my testimonial page right now. Strange. But I will find out about that. Just to go back to chat. Kathy, the actual testimonial page for the capture does work. For now, though, it wasn't letting me actually add it to my website, so I'm not sure if it's an issue either with my command or in command with command in general. So that's something I'm going to reach out to them about. But in the past, you can try adding it. Let me know if you get the same error. I actually have done one of these with an agent in the past, and it does actually capture the reviews. However, it was only allowing them to have up to 2 reviews on the website at a time. So that was something I wasn't sure if they already fixed yet, but it was working for me previously. I had a review page here and I deleted it. So now I have the one that's not working. I will keep everybody posted on that. But I did want to just show, because I was getting that question, how am I able to customize my agent site? And that's a way that you can add your pages in there. You can't add Zillow reviews just yet. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have a way to connect it with Zillow as well. So that's something that might be a feature request, and you can add that as an idea, but I don't know if they're going to be adding that anytime soon. I would see Google reviews being more likely than Zillow. Let me just move this little bar out of the way so I can see. So you can't copy and paste them either, unfortunately. Sorry. What you could do, however, if you were looking for a workaround, you can use that company profile page, and you can paste some of them into the company profile and just label that as a testimonial page. The only thing is that you can only have 3 on there, so it wouldn't probably wouldn't be that beneficial if you have way more than that. I guess you could highlight a few, but that would probably be the only way you can do it right now. I mentioned that I also have some custom pages on here. So I have like a booking an appointment form. This was something I also used with that the company profile page. And I don't want to go too much into this because I'm not sure if it's going to work right now. But I do have a video on how I added this, and I can send it to everybody after this if they'd like. But as far as customizing your website, if we go back to consumer here, and if we go to create a new site, anytime we want to add a page or any sort of information to my website, we can use this on my agent site, create a page, and then that will allow me to create a new page for my site. Yeah, Denise, we can do that. Cool. All right. So we had covered what I wanted to cover with the agent site. And again, sorry if I got cut off there for a minute. My internet dropped out. So what I want to do now is I want to just switch over to my consumer app. And how do I actually edit any of the consumer app information? That's going to be directly connected with your marketing profile, as I mentioned. There's one additional feature on the consumer app that you could edit from your consumer applet, which is the guide builder. So if you've been in any of my previous consumer classes, I go over the guide builder, and the guide builders where essentially you can build out the transaction guides that kind of gives the user or the consumer a kind of like a workflow, and it gives them a flow of where they are in the transaction period. So if I go into, we'll do my buyer guide. So under my buyer guide here, you can see here I have all these different sections laid out, and these are going to be my buyer guide process. So starting in transaction, or starting your search rather, sorry, getting a pre-approval, touring homes, making an offer, executing contracts, getting a claim history report, home inspections, getting home insurance with CHA, home insurance, home warranty, and closing. You'll probably notice if you're looking at yours and you're going through mine that I have a couple custom ones in there. That's because you can build out your own guide however you do your business. So in this case, I've actually added a few steps that aren't already in the defaulted guide, and those can be easily added by going down here where it says add a step. And we can fill out this card here. We just put a subtitle in, which as you can see, if I did, you can say like home insurance with CHA, let's just do that as an example. We'll do the card subtitle, which would be just a brief kind of overview of what that step's going to be. And then we can add in a card image, which is essentially going to be the image that the client would see when they're going through the guide. Once you hit continue, it's going to add the guide step into here, as you can see, and it's going to drop it right below the bottom here. So you see it's the first one. And then if you click on the actual guide, it's going to give you an overview of what the guide step is, because we already put some of that information in. One thing that's also going to unlock additionally is a workspace detail. And this is just going to be the full overview of what the step is. So I copy and pasted this letter essentially. And the letter I copy and pasted into this workspace text section. And then I save the change. So once you save the change, that step will be updated, and then I can drag and drop this anywhere where it should be on the actual guide process. So I just kind of dragged it up a little bit, and then this would be saved. So it automatically saves, or you can hit save changes on the top, because I don't think I made any actual changes. So you can essentially go through this whole guide. You can edit it however you want. And I see a few questions. Ooh, sorry, I just went into my XD program here. Let me open up the questions. Not sure how to add the testimonial page to my site. Kathy, I'll send you the guide on how to do it. I'm recording this video as well, which goes through how to do it. But again, I was having issues with that as well. So I'm thinking it's something on KWRI's end. I will find out. Joe, I think I answered your question. It looks like you're good. And then Dawn, you were asking about the information about that too. I also have a step-by-step document on how I built out the guides. So I did make a guide, kind of like a manual. And I did that specifically how I added like the CHA one in there. But the way that I laid it out, the same steps would be applicable to however you want to do yours. So I can send those out if anybody needs it. Cool. All right. So the guides, again, those are going to translate not only into my consumer app now, but also my agent site. I want to show you that because they do live in there. So let's go back to my website real quick. So I'm logged in under my client account. Again, this is just my own. If I go to guides, the guide setup process is already laid out in here as well, as you can see. It's pretty cool. So not only can I view this from my, my consumer app, but they can also view it from my agent site. And they can click on these steps here too. Gives you a nice little overview of what the step is. They can also mark it as complete. So the client's actually logged in here. They can mark it as complete. And so they're essentially trying to build out the experience from the app with some of the functionality on the website as well. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to switch gears, and I just want to make sure I answer the questions in there. Dawn, we're good. I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to just share my phone screen and just make sure you can see that as well. Let's see if we can, let's just install this little plugin real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and screen mirror, zoom. And if you can let me know if you see my screen, that would be great. You see my phone screen? Cool, thanks. Let's go ahead and go into my consumer app. So I have my app laid out here. It's the one in the middle. We're gonna hit KW. And I wanna just sign out because I wanna give you the exact kind of like run through of when a client signs in. So let's go ahead and log in and sign up. So the first thing your client's gonna see when they first go into the app is a screen like this. If you log into it, or if you go into the app, you're gonna see the same exact screen. If you hit login, it's gonna ask you for an email and password. So it's not gonna be the same username and password you use as an agent because your consumer are using this. So they're not gonna be using that username and password. So what they have to do is they have to hit sign up. And if you wanna be able to play around and test out the app, you need to sign up as a client. Let's pretend I'm gonna be a client. You would hit sign up, you would fill out the information here. And I would say, as just my own recommendation and what KW also recommends is if you want to play around with the app and test it out, use your own name and email. That way you have, you get a nice little feel of how the app works. And also you can track yourself within Command and see exactly how it functions with Command. So I already did this process. I'm going to go ahead and log myself in. And we're going to hit log in here. And what it's going to do, it's going to bring me inside the app, as you can see. And I knew somebody's coming in as test. Oh, should I let that person in? We'll let them in. It's a little weird, but anyway. As you can see here, this is what you're going to see when you first log into the app as a client. The client's going to see this and they're going to be able to essentially do a listing search or rental search anywhere they want. You know, I'm in Jersey City at the moment and I can kind of click through here. They can see the properties that are currently listed. They can look through. The functionality that they can also do from this app as you can see, they can create a save if I want to save that into a property list. They can also share that. So if they were going to say, I want to share this property with my spouse, or if I want to show it to my agent, they can also share that, and they can share the property. They can also review the Keller mortgage, Keller covered, which is this one here. They can get some of the information about the home. You can see I also set up drive and commute times. I will show you how to do that in a second. This is awesome. I love the commute times feature. That's really cool. Nearby schools, any upcoming open houses. You can also use the mortgage calculator. Again, it's going to give you the Keller covered and Keller mortgage links. I guess sorry, Kathy, I guess I have to log out as an agent to sign in as a customer to test. If you're already logged in, you don't have to log out. You're good. But I will show you how you can connect this with yourself as an agent if you haven't already. Now, mine is connected with me as an agent. If you downloaded this for the first time and you weren't already connected, or if you had reinstalled this app at some point, you might disconnect from yourself as an agent in here. So I want to navigate all the way to the right where it says more. And you'll notice here right now it's saying find an agent. So in this case, it disconnected me. If you hit that find an agent button, I'm going to search for my name. And you can do this search for essentially any agent. I'm searching for my own name. I'm going to hit my name. It's going to give me my profile. Again, this is going to be something that auto-populates from your marketing profile, the one we filled out earlier. Get in touch. I'm going to hit confirm. So now I am connected with myself. I'm the agent, as you can see. We can hit view profile. And then that's going to have my information on there as the agent. Let me see if there's any other questions. Please send links to the command videos. Yes, I will do that. And I'll post up the link to the Bergen County Partners page. Now, if I wanted to share this app, there's also a button here to share the app. You can see. Again, they're going to have the Keller covered, Keller mortgage links. You can add a co-buyer. So as the client, they can invite a spouse or whomever. Now, if you recall the guides that we set up, if I have a guide, this is where I can access those guides that we just set up before, as you can see. There's my Keller, my CHA link. You can see the CHA information in there. You can see the nice little graphic that I created. And then my saved property search. So this is the property search that my client has created. Ooh, app crash there, all good. So additionally, as your client is doing any of that save searches, it's going to update inside of the command database. So I'm just going to navigate over to my command database in a second. Does anybody have any questions around the app right now? I think I just saw something pop up actually. Can we replace CHA with Keller covered? So Keller covered's already in there by default. So I just added CHA as an additional resource for my clients. So you can have both. And it's always good to have more than one because you're giving your client more options. So good question. But Keller covered is already in there by default. One thing I do want to show with the app that's pretty new right now is the ability to do a landmark search, which would allow me to search by, if I'm looking to move closer to a specific hospital or, anything really. I'll just say Holy Name as an example. Holy Name Hospital. This is a huge value add because then this allows your client to do like a very local search. And you can see here around that area, this is the hospital. There's some of the listings that they can, take a look at. And let's say we're going to look at this one here, Griggs Ave. You know, this would just be one of the properties maybe they want to create a search for. We'll add that to my save search. So as they're doing that, you know, it's going to save it. There's a little heart there, the Reddit heart. And that's all around the hospital area. So they can now do a search around landmarks, which is something that is not available on Zillow or any of those other sites right now. So that's something that I thought was really cool. I just wanted to show that. I'm gonna go back into Command because I do want to show you how this is gonna essentially affect your database as your client is doing things. So I'm gonna just reshare my desktop and we're gonna go back into Command. So in Command now, I have my client who would have been recently updated, as you can see. This is the client. And here's the listing, you see. And it's giving me just some of the information that they've been doing, what properties they were looking at. If they were creating any saved searches or saved collections or updating their collections, it would also appear here, which it hasn't updated yet, but it would show you that they are currently looking at things, which is pretty cool. There's a little checkbox here. That also means that they were connected with me through the consumer app or website. So I did just want to give you a brief overview of what that was doing on the command end. And we are getting close to time here, so I do want to make sure if there's any other questions that I answer those. Anybody else have any other questions? You can unmute yourself as well if you wanted.
Are you going to be doing this again, Chris, this particular class?
I will be, yeah. I'll be doing this one again. I also have a really good one that I recorded recently, so I could just, let me show you on YouTube where you can find those.
On YouTube? Right.
But yes, I will be doing this again.
Good.
And then sorry again for that brief cutoff when I got my internet disconnected. But we do have a YouTube channel here on Bergen County Partners. That's the name of the YouTube channel. You can search that. And you can see here right now under videos, we have quite a few of the live streams that we've done previously, as you can see. And this was one I did 2 weeks ago. This was on the consumer app. So that was another good one. You can definitely watch that. But yeah, we're gonna be posting these, you know, pretty much every day. We'll have some new live streams up there. I'm gonna post this one up later on today.
Great.
Any other questions around either the agent site or app currently?
Chris, originally with the consumer app, it seemed like if you were standing in front of a property that was for sale and you opened up the app or you gave it to your client, it would automatically know where you are. Is that not a feature that our current app has?
No, the current app does have that feature. So it's basically built out where it has that kind of like location services on it.
So
I
what
think
am
you're
I
also,
doing wrong? Is there a way to set it up that way?
so it's primarily dependent on the person's phone, and if they have location settings on, anytime they're doing a search, it would allow them to be essentially pinpointed to wherever they're currently located.
I have that on my phone, but it wasn't working.
I would have to, if you can send me, I don't know, if you can send me a screenshot or if you can do like a video capture. A screenshot would probably work too, just so I can see what you're looking at.
Okay.
Because for me, it works fine. You know, I can do all the locations anywhere that I'm at. So if they're in front of a house, they can essentially, you know, do a search right where they are and see whatever is currently.
Yeah, that's a great feature.
Yeah, it works though.
How do I send it to you?
You can email it to me.
And what's your email?
I'll put it into the chat.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Kathy, if you want to send me an email, if you had something off topic, you can just send me an email. That's fine. I'll answer it.
We put our emails in the chat if we want the information sent to us.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, anybody who wanted me to send them off some of those resources I mentioned, just put your email in there and I will email that stuff over to you today as well. So I'll give another minute for you to put your emails in there and then I will email everybody. I also have a chat log, so I'll be able to do that. So it's all good. All right, cool. Anybody else have any additional questions before I hop off?
Thanks.
Well, I just want to, yeah, thanks everybody for coming out, always supporting the live streams. And again, I will be emailing you guys. And I hope everybody has a great day.
Chris,
Thank you very much.
Chris,
Yes.
where should I put the email? I just lost it.
If you can just put it into the chat box, that would be great.
Where is that?
If you're in, where are you on a desktop right now?
I am where you are in the same.
I think I have your email. You're good. You don't have to send it. I have your email. I know who you are.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll send that over to you guys. Thanks again, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.